Hey, another week, another update. And in this update, we're going to talk about case material. But before we get into that, some progression. So I've received the 80HE DVT models, and it has the shifted arrow keys. And the shift arrow keys are looking pretty good, and the case materials looks good. There's no issue on the case with making the shift or any kind of weird mold marks on the case, and that's exactly the thing you'd be afraid of, making all these changes to the mold. So this is good. But as you might have noticed from the case, it's not opaque black. Nope, this is like a translucent, smoky black with some speckles in there. And that's kind of also the thing we've been working on these last couple of weeks. And that's also what this update today is going to be about. We're trying to find the right style and color for the 80HE, and it's challenging. And if you might have noticed in the beginning on the website, the renders of the 80HE were completely opaque black. And that was not wrong, but it's a very neutral, easy color to go for because most people can just accept a black colored case. That's why most stuff is just black. However, now that we have more time, it also allows us to explore a little bit more with the case materials, of styles, of colors. And that's exactly what we've been doing. And we're really digging this translucent, smoky style. It gives this a bit more of an industrial look. It has a bit of transparency through it. You can see the internal structure, you can see the gasket, and you can see a lot more from the top side of the keyboard. And that's what I find myself very interesting. But does that mean that it's your style and something that you like? No, it doesn't have to be. And that's also why we're going to do a poll. So you can find a poll on X and you can find a poll on Discord. There's a link below in the description. And in the poll, you're gonna find a few different style cases that we've made, and then kind of choose which case you like the most. And don't worry, it doesn't mean we're only going to make that case. It doesn't mean that we're going to make all 3 cases. It just gives us a really good idea what direction we should be taking with the 80HE and the style and the colors. And that also gets into the next thing, the zinc alloy case. And that's what the update is also about today. We have 2 different materials. We're getting that in a moment. But for the zinc alloy case, we've also been trying out different colors, from black to white, into different kind of sandblasted finishes to the more smooth finishes. And that's also a challenge. And in that, we're still kind of deciding what we're going to do. But you know what? Let's just get into the case materials. Case materials. Now, case materials is part of a bigger subject, which is environmental friendly products and manufacturing. Now, we can already see in the world that we have a lot more recycled materials available. We can see that companies are working on having a neutral carbon footprint. And we also have things like using more environmental friendly packaging. Now, these are all great things, but what is happening in the gaming industry? In the gaming industry, nothing. I mean, have you seen any brand doing anything for this? At best, maybe they work on this carbon neutral footprint stuff, or they might do some recycled packaging, but they don't really make real moves forward in this direction. And this is where it's heading towards. Now, I can understand that this is not the case for smaller brands or medium-sized brands. Heck, I mean, we could have definitely not do anything of this a few years ago. But now we're growing bigger, we can step up our game a bit, and we can work towards manufacturing more environmental friendly and be more conscious of it during product development. Everything from packaging to the transportation and from the whole line up to down. Does that mean that suddenly Wooting is going to be a super environmental friendly company and our carbon footprint is neutral and we have everything recycled? No, of course not, because it takes time. We have to learn a lot, and there's a lot to learn in this area. How to do it, what to use, what is durable enough or not, and what is the real impact. So what we can do is tell you we're going to do our best to take steps forward into this direction and make sure that we can do the best that we can do and work towards having a more environmental friendly product that is still durable and still premium and something that you can enjoy. So what did we do with the 80HE? Well, it starts off with the packaging, but I'm going to leave that for another update because it's quite a big subject. And then we looked at the case of the 80HE. The case of the 80HE is made of PCR ABS plastic. PCR basically stands for post-consumer recycled. This means that there was another ABS product that was made before, that was used by an end user, and then recycled properly back to the factory where it's melted back down into the pellets and then injected into, for example, the 80HE. So that's post-consumer recycled. Does that mean that the properties of PCR ABS are any worse or better than regular ABS? Nope, it's all the same, but this time it's recycled. But we didn't just stop there. We also wanted to take a look at what kind of other case materials can we use. Now we've been looking, of course, at CNC aluminum, but it has kind of two problems. One is that it takes a long time to complete aluminum case with CNC machining. It doesn't scale really well. And the second problem is that it's really expensive, and I don't think you want to be paying that much money on that kind of case. Now there are other tricks that we can use by combining plastic with the aluminum, but it's just not the full experience. So what we've been looking into is doing casting. Now, casting is basically the same as plastic injection, but then using metal. And we've been looking at using zinc alloy metal, and zinc alloy is way much heavier than aluminum. It is also way much stronger than aluminum and has a kind of different feel. But the great thing about casting it is that we can do any design we really want to do, similar to doing a plastic case. So we have a zinc alloy case, which has the same design as the 80HE, but then it's heavy, like it's really heavy. Right now we're still looking into what kind of finish we're going to use for it. We've been using paints, we've been using UV coatings, and we're doing sandblasting in different ways to kind of see what is a nice way of doing it. But that is still an exploration we're going through, and that's for another time. For now, that's it. Bye-bye.